Outriders, and welcome to another Outrider video, guys. Today we're going to be taking a look at the brand new legendary armor coming to the new Worldslayer DLC called the SHIELDBEAST. Now this is going to be better for the Trickster, so if you're a Trickster main, you're definitely going to want to make sure you pay close attention, because this actually does a lot of really cool stuff, especially with the perk and the bonus you get from having the 3 different pieces of the actual armor set. So what does the armor set actually do? It says every percent of shield increases the anomaly power by 1%. So you're probably wondering, all right, Laser, that's pretty dope, but what exactly are they doing to put this build together to make sure you get a lot of anomaly power, but also maintain your shield? Well, today we're going to be breaking down not only the build, the armor, but also how it all ties in together. So if this sounds like something you're definitely interested, a like would be greatly appreciated. And if you want to go out of your way and show a little bit more love and support, drop that fat thank you, we greatly appreciate it. So let's dive in and talk about this particular armor set. So let's go ahead and break it down and start off with the skills. For skills, the guys, they picked up 3 different skills. Twisted Rounds, which you guys are already familiar with. Basically, what Twisted Rounds does is when you apply the Twisted Round, and it'll create anomaly bullets, which increase your firepower and your anomaly power. Very powerful skills. If you guys play a Trickster, you guys know what I'm talking about. Then they went with Borrowed Time. Borrowed Time is actually pretty dope because when you apply Borrowed Time, you will automatically receive bonus shield. Now, this ties in perfectly with the suit because when that Borrowed Time is applied, you're going to be picking up that 1% of anomaly power, which makes it pretty good because that Borrowed Time damage is increased by the anomaly power that you have. Last but not least, guys, we have Ventress Knife. This is actually pretty dope because the Ventress Knife, what it's going to do, it's going to throw the little knives, mark the little enemies, and when those enemies are marked, they're going to go ahead and you're going to deal more damage with your anomaly power percentile based on the enemies that you marked for 10 seconds. So it's actually a pretty powerful build, and the synergy applied with these skills seems pretty dope if you put together. But with that being said, the skills, we got to dive in a little bit deeper and take a look at the skill tree. So let's take a look at the first skill tree, because remember, there are 3 different things going in play. If you're a returning player, we only use the skill tree and pretty much our mods to put a synergy together or put a build together. This time around, not only do we have to put our skill tree, we also have to apply our packs tree, plus the different points that we're spending within the additional bonuses that we're going to be able to get. So a lot of things go tied in together. So as you guys see, they went top tree, and the reason they went top tree is because they want to make sure they maximize the amount of weapon damage that we have. As you guys may already see, there is a lot of weapon damage nods that have been applied here, and plus we're picking up a lot of bonuses when it comes to a shotgun. So a shotgun would definitely be one to consider because we did pick up the Shotgun Master, which is going to increase your shotgun weapon damage by 15%. They also went ahead and picked up this Disruptive Firepower. This is allowing you to increase your weapon damage when you do a Deception skill. And of course, the Deception skill we're using here is the Ventress Knife. So of course, our weapon damage is going to be increased every time that enemy gets marked. Now, in addition to that, they also went ahead and had Transfusion, which increases the weapon life leech by 5%, so we're getting our health back from the weapon. And they also picked up Bounty Hunter, which increases your weapon damage against elites. Very powerful, very potent. So the way you actually apply your skills is going to be very important because you want to make sure you maximize that against elites. They also went ahead and increased the one that increases your magazine size by 50%. But overall, in general, since they went top 3, they picked up Cold Calculation, which is for each enemy in close range, your weapon damage is increased by 8%. So it's really important because the closer we are to the enemy, the better it's going to be. And of course, since we are using skills like Borrowed Time, that's going to have us getting up close to the enemy, popping our Twisted Rounds. And in addition to that, guys, being able to do a lot of damage with the shotgun makes this build very powerful and very potent. So that's pretty much the skill tree. Now let's take a look at the pack tree and find out exactly why they went the way they went and why they didn't pick up some nods that they're probably picking up from the pack tree. So let's go ahead and dive into the pack tree. Alright, so the first nod they picked up from the pack tree is one that allows you to get 15% more damage when you actually use a damage skill. Of course, our damage skills here is going to be Twisted Rounds. So when we use Twisted Rounds, we're going to be picking up that 15%, which is actually pretty dope. Now, in addition to that, guys, we're also adding one that's going to give you 15% more anomaly power or firepower for 5 seconds, depending on which one is higher. And this is actually activated whenever you activate any skill. So you're going to be getting a 15% increment with anomaly or firepower, depending which one you have higher within your stats. Now, this one's the one that makes this build really potent and very powerful, and why some of you guys might be questioning the armor set or the armor suit and how that's not being applied with shield. They're actually applying that one within the pack suit, which is going to allow you to get 15% shield and 10% shield to your allies every time you activate a skill. So every time you activate a skill, your shield's going to be getting incremented and allowing you to do even more anomaly damage, which is really powerful, guys, especially synergizing very well within this build. And of course, the final nod here, guys, is the one that's going to be doing a ton of damage because this is going to be tying specifically against elites. Not only are we picking one nod that's going to allow us to have mitigation against elites, but we're also picking one that's going to allow us to increase our damage against elites by 4% for 3 seconds. Now remember, the cool thing about this one is that the effect can occur every second and it stacks up for a total of 10 times. So really powerful against elites. And the way this build is synergizing seems to be very powerful against those top bosses. We're going to be able to melt them very fast and very easily. All right, so now let's take a look at the enhancement nods. Now, the enhancement nods, guys, we're picking up anomaly, and it seems like they went ahead and they maximized anomaly power, which, of course, this is an anomaly build, and we're going to be using a lot to be able to do a lot of damage with it. They also went increased resistant piercing by 10%, and anomaly damage was also boosted with this one. So they spent the majority of their points within those categories. Now, for endurance category, they went ahead and spent 10 points into health and 10 points into armor. Really smart, really effective, because the only other thing that you could probably spend more points in here, which they already did, is the elite damage mitigation. So being able to heal, not heal yourself, being able to absorb a little bit more damage from the elites. Now, the brutality one, they went ahead and did 3 different upgrades. They did armor piercing, which is really cool. Of course, increased their close range damage, which is extremely important because this is a close range build, because we're going to be doing a lot of damage at. And then 10% within that weapon damage. And for the prowess one, they actually went really crazy here. They went critical damage 10%. They actually spent the most points within the magazine size of 25%. Since we are theoretically using a shotgun for the majority of this, which is the one that's going to be doing a lot of damage, it kind of makes sense how that shotgun is going to have more ammo capacity to do more damage. So that does make sense. And they went ahead and increased it a little bit more damage against elites. Now, cooldown reduction, I don't know how fast the cooldown is in this build, but there's still a couple more points, 10 points that you could probably spend in cooldown reduction to get your skill back a little bit faster. So we're going to have to see and test it out exactly how that plays out. But overall, in general, that is the build. Now, with that being said, let's take a look at the mods they used to even enhance this build even further for this character. Alright, so one of the mods they actually highlighted in the video was called Hive Cut. This is a brand new level 3 mod which uses the Venture Knife. And this is actually a pretty crazy one because it says damaging an enemy marked by the skill also activates the effect on other marked targets within a 6-meter radius, dealing 50% of the initial damage. This is actually pretty cool because it makes Venture Knife even more potent. Because remember, it already marks 5 additional enemies. In addition to that marked enemy, if you damage them, you're going to actually mark multiple enemies that are around you, which makes it pretty crazy. Now, in addition to that, they also have Sharpen, which is going to increase the skill damage by the Venture Knife. Not that much, because what we really want to do is just mark people. And they want to pick an anomaly one for the Twisted Rounds, which is going to give you a little bit more resistant piercing. Another mod that was highlighted was called Trophy. Now, this is part of the Venture Knife as well, which is successful shots on enemies marked by the knife make them drop energy ups to grant you shields. Now, this makes perfect sense because as this particular armor said, the Shield Beast, it's going to allow you to increase your anomaly power of the shield based on your shield, right? So every time you guys are killing people with the Venture Knife, you're going to be able to pick up those orbs. Those orbs are going to give you more shield and then enhancing and increasing the amount of damage you do with your anomaly power. So the synergy plays in perfectly here. The only thing that would make this even more powerful is if there was a mod that actually pulled these shields without you having to go pick them up, right? So that would be even really OP, but I don't even know if that's a thing, but that would be pretty dope. Now, in addition to that here, guys, they have more Venture Knives mods here, which is adds 2 more bounces during the Ricochet Path, which is the Eager Edge. And the Shield Blast is a complete shield depletion, triggers a powerful energy blast, doing 7 million damage to the enemies within a 5-meter radius. This is actually pretty powerful and really potent, but our shield shouldn't technically be going down with this build because we want to make sure our shield's always active. Now, we take a look at the gloves, guys. They do have a very nice Venture Knife one, which we've seen before, which is going to allow you to give 50% more damage to mark elites, which is really, really dope. And of course, the anomaly caught shots on enemy marked by the knife receive more anomaly damage. So a lot of anomaly damage, a lot of stuff happening here that makes this really powerful and really potent. Now, as far as the helmet, guys, they have strong Twisted Rounds, which of course is going to increase your firepower by 15%. Body count with Twisted Rounds is that the next Twisted Round cooldown is reduced, so you're going to be able to proc that even further. So a lot of really cool and interesting mods when it comes to the actual suit itself. Now let's take a look at what they're kind of doing with the weapons and see where they're picking up the majority of the actual damage here. So we have a very interesting assault rifle that they're using called the Final Penance. This one in particular has a really cool mod, which critical shots grant a 10% anomaly power bonus for 10 seconds, and it does stack up. Now, the thing with this one is, guys, we shouldn't theoretically be using our assault rifle that much. The main thing we're going to be using our shotgun, and that leads us to the second weapon called the Thunderclap. And this is actually pretty dope because it has one called Nicholas Revenge. It says shots link up to 5 enemies within a 4-meter radius around the initial target, dealing 4 million damage over 2 seconds to each of them as long as their initial target is alive. Really powerful, guys. Really potent. Now, in addition to that, they're also running Storm Whip, which shots bring down lightning on the enemy, dealing 9 million damage for 3 seconds. So a lot of synergy going here. And Concentrated Blast, critical shots cause enemies to explode, dealing 2 million damage, multiplied by the number of enemies around a 6-meter radius, which is actually pretty crazy. The last weapon we're looking is the Revolver, which is a sidearm called Lumberjack, and this one has a really crazy mod called the Essence Extractor. Successful shots on enemies afflicted by any status effect restore 5% of your max health, which is pretty crazy because we have improved toxic bullets, which shots inflict toxic bullets. So every time we are applying that toxin, it's going to go ahead and give us our health back, which makes it really awesome. Now, in addition to that, they also are running a thing called Legendary Minefield, which critical shots spawn explosives around your target would deal explosive damage. Really crazy build, guys. Really crazy weapons, and I am looking really forward to the Worldslayer DLC. Let me know what you guys think of the build. Let me know what you guys think of the Legendary Armor. Are you guys excited, or are you still on the fence regarding Outriders? Let me know on the comment section down below. I hope you guys are enjoying our content. You are doing the keys for you guys. Drop a comment, drop a like. But most importantly, subscribe to the channel, turn on all those notifications, and go that extra mile and hit that thank you. We'd greatly appreciate it. Thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you guys on the next one.